Hello and welcome to Sports Today on a Sunday morning, and we've got a very special guest today. All of us have been celebrating Ajinkya Rahane, and for just reasons. What a hundred! What a turnaround! What captaincy! What mental resilience! And it's been a great story. I mean, Ajju is a great story in Australia this time round. Has always been a very good player. Someone who has known Ajinkya Rahane from the closest of quarters, mentored him, coached him, knows what he did, how he prepared for Australia, is joining us this morning. And it is difficult to ask him some critical questions because, more importantly, his family to both Deep Dasgupta and me. We've spent days together having multiple meals and doing in the Bengali sort of term adda, genuine adda, where we just criticize each other. So we know each other inside out. So if we try bowling a googly, Praveen Amre will step out. So we know that. So that's why Deep and I will spare the googlies and will only give Praveen the good balls to play this morning, is something that I promised at the start of the show. Deep Dasgupta first thought. Good. Praveen Amre, you, me, we've spent days together. So how can we bowl him googlies?
We can't because and anyways, we know Praveen Bhai for a very long time from playing days and all that, and also the amazing work that he's been doing post his retirement with all the players, starting from Robin to DK to Ajinkya. I mean, he's been a fantastic coach, obviously with Mumbai as well. Won a few Ranji trophies with Mumbai as a coach. So yeah, I mean, not just playing. I mean, now that he's paying it off by coaching, yeah, that's wonderful.
Praveen, first things first, what did Ajju do to prepare for Australia? Tell us about the Melbourne 100. What conversations did you have mentally? How did he react to captaincy? Give us the story. Simple.
Well, I think first of all, like this can be a historical tour, not because for a preparation, for also because you just imagine like this. This was like a COVID time, and this team was supposed to go. I think in September they went to Dubai, and from Dubai they were going to Australia straight away. So usually we used to prepare ourselves just one tour at a time, but this was like a twin tour. Like IPL was there, and from there. So what Ajinkya planned, to be honest, it was very difficult to get organize a practice, and we can't blame anybody. But situation like that, no government can't help you, no association can't help you, and we needed someone. He needed that practice because just imagine before that New Zealand tour what happened, and it wasn't a successful tour for him. But one positive was he was telling me in even that tour also, like all the expert and everybody questioned the way he played in New Zealand. Yes, he takes all critics also in his stride, in the sense he take a positive will. Yes, he can improve his game, and I think that's what he wanted to do in this time when he wanted to prepare himself going before Australia. But unfortunately, it was such a challenging was there. Like we can't get a practice facility, we can't get a bowlers, we can't get a throwdown persons. And I'm like not a person who can throw him for 14 2 weeks. He wanted to practice before going to Dubai and prepared for Australia, because he know like this particular tour, Australia, they will also come strongly with their short ball. It's not only Ajinkya, they come with all Indian batsmen. But he wanted to prepare that extra. Usually we used to practice for one session, but he planned. And as a coach, I was really glad because he was taking on his shoulder even his practice session. So he's thinking about his game. He was thinking about how he will improve. And what luckily we managed, like in this COVID time, I got my one assistant who can throw with left hand also and right hand also. Because in when you prepared, you have to prepare for both type of bowlers. So we made sure like we done his COVID test first, because it's not just emotionally we are going to practice. We made it sure like he will also the safe, because it was me, him, and only that throwdown person. Only three people we were practicing, we have to keep it very secretive also, because if it comes in a newspaper, it would have been a story that we are not following the rules. So it was very confidential. We had to do that, and Ajinkya planned it such a successfully. Like that person, we have to keep him away from his house also, because we were not allowing him to go back to home. So anything can happen, and he was traveling 60 kilometers. So Ajinkya planned that way, like he will stay close to the ground, so he will not go home. I was working with the Mumbai Indians as a high performance coach, so I have to go according to Mumbai Indians practice timing. So we planned the way I will be available for a morning session or evening. I used to come that way, but Ajinkya was on his own. He knew what he was doing. He was asking that my throwdown person to bowl me in this area. I want to practice this type of a ball only. He made it sure like he will have a less reaction time when he's going to prepare those practice session. and he was ready to take a blows on a body because he was aware like there may be sensation will come there. He has to take blow on his body to just survive that session. And I think that's what he did in before going. And I was really glad to see like how he was preparing, because Ajinkya's story is that he was just successful simply because he prepared himself very well for each and every tour, because that was the challenge he always had. And as I know, like I'm a student of my guru Acharya sir, I remember his words like in a cricket 15 seconds of success you need a 15 years of hard work. And I think that's what Ajinkya is doing for many years. And people are thinking like he's successful right now, but it is behind what he worked hard for so many years. And it was a struggle for him. It wasn't that easy journey for him. I myself was a the 11 to 12 test match as a 12th man before getting that respectful India cap. He was a more than 15 to 17 test match. He was a 12th man to get that cap. And I remember his early days also, like when he was with me. Why we are associated? Because 2008, I was a Mumbai coach and I was a 6-year Mumbai coach. In that, we won 3 championships. And every year, Ajinkya scored 1,000 runs. After scoring 1,000 runs for 5 years also, he was not selected for India. So one day he called me like that, sir, I scored 1,000 runs for my last 5 years. I am not saying I've scored for 1 year or 2 years. So when I will get my test cap? I said, we gave him one example of Michael Hussey. He played 10 years and scored 10,000 runs before getting that green baggy cap. And as a test player, I told it's worth waiting for that cap. Maybe you have to work maybe 2 years, but it's worth waiting with, because once you wear that cap, you will be, that feeling will be totally different. You cannot compare, because representing India in a test cricket, it's a real challenge.
Deep, this is quite astounding. Huh? Tremendous preparation resulting in success. This is actually one of those dreams come true stories. I mean, you put in the hard work, the good boy, as Saurav had tweeted. You know, good things happen to good people. Good people do come first. Deep, your question?
Absolutely. I mean, no two ways about it. And knowing Ajinkya and obviously Praveen Bhai and everyone that Praveen Bhai kind of coaches, everyone's like hard working. I mean, there's no two ways. And Ajinkya personally is someone like this. Whatever I've seen of him is somebody who works really, really hard. But Praveen Bhai, the most important challenge that I think is obviously preparing technically and physically for a tour. But in these extraordinary times, I mean, was he doing something differently mentally to be part of? I'm sure you kept in touch with him right through IPL and now Australia. How difficult has this been mentally? The whole bubble and staying away from family, as you mentioned. It's not just IPL, but 2 weeks before IPL when he was preparing for it. How difficult was it mentally?
Well, I think what I like about it, he has his own goal to play serve to India for a long time. See, right now he played 67, and I think if he play good, he should be playing 100 tests, and we all will be happy to see that he's playing 100 tests. So that is the goal. So he aware of that. Playing 100 tests is not an easy number, because opponent will always come, and in this journey there will be a speed breaker, I will say, because you have to restart sometime. The road is always not easy for any player who plays 100 test matches. And I can vouch that because I just played 10 test matches. So I know how difficult to play 100 test matches. But yes, the mentally, I can say like there are many people help indirectly. Maybe my role was as a mentor. It wasn't. That's why I said the credit is not only for me. There are many people, because I can teach him the cricket aspect. But this game, we all know that 70% is a mental aspect. And I think to balancing his head, I think I can give credit to the Swami Parthasarathi who preaches in a Gita. In fact, I arranged one session with NSG Commando. He was the head of Calcutta, Mr. Rakesh Krishnan also. He came specially to have one session with Ajinkya, because I personally stayed 2 days in that hub in NSG Commando in Kolkata to understand how they train that difficult, because NSG Commando is the one, is like a, before army, they have to go. And they have to handle those situations which are very tough, and they are prepared really mentally tough, not only physically. So it is all about taking that decision in that moment. See, I believe in the sports, there is always a next day. If Ajinkya was a failure in New Zealand, but still he had a time to recover, bounce back. But the NSG Commando, they don't have a second chance. It's their life. That one mistake, it takes their life. So I think that type of thinking, I think that was very critical. And I'm glad that those people came for Ajinkya. What I wanted to also back what Saurav said, because it's a big statement what he made, is a good people, you can give a good result also. Why I'm saying, because as you know, we were preparing for Ajinkya for every before tour. And one day one person was observing him and he was there too, but we were not aware who is that. And I was, as a being a managing committee, I had accreditation to go on a ground also when the international match was there. So that gentleman one day called me and he just wanted to talk me and he just congratulated me. So I said he was chief anti-corruption bureau head officer of India. Like he was a head of chief corruption or anti-corruption that sale we got. What he said to me, I think that was more pleasing as a good person. He said, I am observing Ajinkya last two years in a dressing room because they got all information, they got all data. But what he told me about him, it is like I saw Ajinkya in a dressing room. Even a glass of water, he himself goes. Even for his kit bag, he never asks anybody to get the help. He picks his own kit bag. So I personally feel, yes, all entire world is praising him right now, what he performed. He executed on the ground. But this also so critical, being a good human. I think that's also so critical. And I give that credit to those people like the Swami Parthasarthi. They teach him how to handle success as well as failure also. And nobody will not agree that he had a more bad days in a cricket than a good days.
One question to you, Deep, and one to Praveen. The first to you. There was a lot of talk about Ajinkya being a quiet person, a relatively sort of reticent person, unassuming, reserved, and Virat is an extrovert. And after 36 all out, can he take charge of the team? How will he balance it out against Australian aggression? Your thoughts on his captaincy and the way he stood up? I mean, were you a little surprised, or did you actually expect that Ajinkya would be able to take control in the manner that he did? Deep first and then Praveen.
For me, I think I knew that he could do it. There's no two ways, and it's not just about him. There are other leaders as well. But what I really have seen Ajinkya, because I've been an Ajinkya fan not post his international debut, but from his first class days, because you could see that there is someone special there, and he might be quiet, but that does not mean he's not aggressive. He might be less expressive than someone like Virat, but he's equally aggressive, equally attacking. The way he thinks, the way he handles himself. It's just that he keeps quiet. But I've seen him leading as well. We all seen him lead India before. I'm not taking into account Afghanistan because, with all due respect, it was Afghanistan. But we all remember how he led India in Dharamshala. He was attacking in his mindset. His bowling changes were attacking. His team again was very attacking. So I think if you look back and see. You will get hints that he's someone who's very, very aggressive in his mindset. Obviously, his batting tells you that, the way he bats, counter-attacking more often than not when India is in trouble. So I did not really have any doubt that he can get this team together. And also credit to the other leaders, because I think we mentioned that before the second test, that the leaders have to stand up. And all the leaders did, starting with Pujara to Ashwin, to Bumrah, they all stood up, and credit to obviously Rahane to get all of them together, all the leaders. And one of the things we've mentioned this is when India were bowling, the bowling captains seemed to be someone else. It wasn't Ajinkya running up to the bowler every time. It was Ashwin or Bumrah speaking to the other bowlers, Ashwin predominantly. So you also kind of got everyone involved in it, and that is so important. Under crisis, you have to get everyone involved. You have to make everyone a stakeholder. Yeah, Praveen bhai, what's your take on that?
I personally feel I just wanted to be in his shoes, particular that moment of coming to that second test match. The test before the series before the New Zealand was there. The test before in Adelaide, first inning he was involved in getting out in a run out with a Virat, and then second inning he scored a 0. So it was a butterfly in my stomach too, because it was an easy task, because getting a team and a leadership. See, we might have the different leaders in a situation, but answerable will be always a captain. So somebody has to take that whole responsibility. And I personally feel that he handled that greatly, simply because he done his own study. I personally feel he must have done a real study about Australian batting, because Australian is always vulnerable for off spinners. And that is where I personally feel the first day was so critical in that Boxing Day, where I think he used Ashwin so well. Nobody expect that on a first day, first hour, off spinner will come and getting Smith out. And I think that's the master stroke he played in that particular, that credit goes to him, because that is the instinct. Deep, you and me played cricket. We cannot plan everything in a dressing room or boardroom. It is all on that matter, on that particular ground. And
Sorry,
sorry.
sorry, I just wanted to add this.
Hmm.
Has the captaincy at Wankhede day one helped getting a spinner? Because we all know about Wankhede first day when the pitch is a little wet, you tend to get a spinner early, right? So
Yeah.
did that
So, so,
experience of Wankhede
so
first day?
also, Deep, I was, as I mentioned, like Ajinkya was a part of my player who can play for 10 years for Mumbai. I used to always think about that. And as we also blessed with the playing with a senior cricketer like Ajinkya, Rohit was their first years. I think the role of seniors like Sachin and Wasim played was a tremendous role, and that was, we used to plan, because we are talking about 2006-7, where as a support staff I was only alone a coach who has to handle bowling, batting, and fielding. And I used to make that idea, like keeping Zahir as a bowling coach because he was the most senior. So as a coach, I can focus on different. I used to make Wasim and Zahir, Sachin to take care of my batting unit, simply because I wanted to share their experience with my upcoming Mumbai player. And Rohit and Ajinkya was so important to share dressing room with Sachin and Wasim, and getting the importance of inside of the cricket on that cricket ground. And I think that's really helped me, because maybe I think he's doing exactly what he's sharing his work, to be honest, like giving the responsibility to the bowling unit, because as a captain, like there are so many thoughts. You have to be one step ahead of the game, and you just can't be focusing in a one department. And also, like even a fielding department, the Ravindra Jadeja's first catch, I think that set the tone, because that showed that how that difficult catch was there. Shubman Gill came between, but he hold the nerve and taking that catch and getting that first wicket, not allowing them that partnership. I think so many small things, and he's keeping his all fielders at the right places. That credit goes to him, because he kept right fielder at the right place.
Okay, again for you, Praveen and Deep, the other high point for me in that test match was when he was run out. The way he sort of patted Ravindra Jadeja and made him feel good. That for me, that was sportsman spirit of the very highest order. That doesn't matter about the team. All of a sudden, batsman Ajinkya had transformed himself into captain Ajinkya. That no issues, take charge. That was a lovely, lovely little moment for me, which according to me changed the match as well. Praveen, your thoughts. Deep, your thoughts. Deep, you go first. Yeah,
Well,
Deep, go.
how I
Yeah.
see is this, Boria, that the test before that, he was involved in some an incident like that, and I can figure out how he must have felt when Virat got out. And obviously we saw that he wasn't the same batsman in that innings post Virat's run out. He felt it this way. I mean, felt bad about it, and you could see that in his game. And he did not want that same thing to happen with Jadeja. So I think that was something I'm sure he felt that he needed to do to calm down Jadeja and say, "Okay, listen, it's all right. The game's not over. You're there now, and you carry on the baton. You don't mess around." So I think that experience from what he felt from the game before, I think made him do that. And again, as you mentioned, that was a really good idea, because at times you do that. We've all felt it. If we were part of a run out where we were at fault, you always felt, and especially if the other batsman is a top batsman, you always felt bad about it. You felt like you've let not him down but the team down as well. So yeah, I think a pat on the back or a gesture like that makes you feel so much better.
Praveen?
Yeah, I agree what Deep says, because he's gone through that. And in Australia, what is important is not a one batsman. It's your engine room. When you play with a six batsman or five batsman, all has to fire. Then only you can be in a position to win the match or draw the match. If you don't fire, you are in a losing side. That simple is that you play in Australia. So he made it sure and give that example, like what he's gone through. Because after that test match, I did ask him, because it wasn't, I was expecting from Ajinkya that miscommunication with Virat, because it is not the first time they are played. They had more than 8-9 times. They had a great partnership, not a small partnership. They were matched.
One second, Praveen. Did you ask him about that? Did you actually
Yeah,
ask him about that?
I
So
did
can you
ask
tell us
him.
what he said? Yeah, what happened? Yeah.
I did ask him that, because it is not like how that incident happened, because that's also very important, simply because he said before that they were planning about quick single, because they don't wanted to make sure like that partnership was building. They wanted to get it to the 100. And suddenly he thought like that run is there. And that ball he timed so well, it went so quickly. So he actually, his intention was to play with a soft hand, but because he was set, that ball was timed so well, and it went suddenly that. But in the mind, they were ready to take those singles. And so that is the reason immediately he told me like he went to the inner dressing room, and first thing he did, like he went and said sorry to Virat, because not only just because he also aware that was so crucial point of, because India was looking for that big partnership, which they did before in Australia, and he wanted that big partnership with Virat because he loves playing with the Virat simply because he is aggression, and that they complement each other so well, because Virat is a run machine ultimately, and when he's there, batting become also easy because like the runs on the board. In Australia when we play, we were a coach in Mumbai, we always follow the Australian pattern. They 90 overs, they make sure they score 350, 360 runs, 4 runs per over, and that only happen if 2 batsmen are playing well, 2 batsmen are getting runs on the board. That only then your run rate will be better. And Virat and Ajinkya, they did that, playing in Australia with that strike rate, which is not easy to play with other batsmen. So he missed that, especially when Virat got out, because he knows those runs will be short now. And as I know Ajinkya, we are from middle class family. The mentality, if we make a mistake, it really hurt us. And I think maybe that what Adeep is saying, like we can say he wasn't the same Ajinkya after Virat was batting. And we saw that in the second inning also. It come a time to get him out, but I think maybe captaincy responsibility take him out from that, and I think he delivered one of the best 100.
Absolutely. I mean, all of us have this middle class sensibilities, very typical Indian sensibilities. And, that's why I saw that tweet that good things happen to good people. And this is a reflection of that. Even the guilt is a reflection of the goodness of the man. But yes, Melbourne is done and dusted. 22 minutes in the show, 8 minutes to go. Deep Das Gupta, Praveen Amre, is Melbourne a flash in the pan? Can Ajinkya Rahane do it again? The question is, we are still 1-1. We have not won the series. The opportunity is in front of us. We are in control now. We have an upper hand maybe mentally because Australia has been jolted. But thoughts, Praveen Amre first, Deep after you. Can India win the series, Praveen, under Ajinkya Rahane?
Well, for me, I think, Goria, we had to think the mindset what we had after coming to the Melbourne. I think we'll forget what we did in Adelaide. And I think that should be again a mindset, because that's the worst we are done. Yes, we are done great job to come back in the series, which is very important to build moral responsibility. Also getting our entire cricket lovers and India's cricket test cricket lover, I will say that the way we, as a team, we played as when we win, I think you win only because you do well in all 3 departments. And I think that's what we did. And I think that is what I think biggest example, and I think maybe learning we got in Adelaide. In a test cricket, 1 hour can be very, very heavy for you. So you understand that in the next Sydney, we have to expect that we beat them on a Boxing Day. They are going to come very hard at us. So prepare for that. And I think we are also not a loser or nothing to lose, because this is what we wanted. We went there to play four test match series, and all Indian, we know like Australia is always a tough tour. But what important is how we play. I think the second test gave us that confidence. Yes, we can play good cricket. And if we produce a good cricket, the result will be with us. It is not behind, I think, media, and they will always make, Boria, you will do your job as a media person. But it is as a cricketer, we have to keep it simple, like playing a good cricket on that day. That hour is a critical, result will take care. And I think that is what we did in the Melbourne. We are not planned to win. I think we played a good sessions and we won every hour of the game. And maybe that is what we have to do in Sydney also, because for us, is a Melbourne is a history. Yes, it's in a good note, it's a history, but now we have to come back. What Ajinkya says, we have to come back in a moment. This is the moment, this is the present, and it is going to be again one more acid test for entire team India, not only for Ajinkya.
Deep.
Well, I'm going to sound a little cliched, but end of the day, it's the process. As Praveen Bhai mentioned, let me just kind of summarize it. It's about every session. It is about every hour. And winning or losing is a byproduct. So end of the day, I know, and as cricketers, we keep talking about the process, but actually it is nothing but the process. And if you, and as Praveen Bhai just mentioned, and we've spoken about it, it's about 2 test matches, 5 into 3, 15 into 2, 30 sessions, and just go at it as 30 sessions. Take one session at a time. Try and win every session. And that's how it is. Even if you lose one session, because if you're competing, you might lose a session, but you can bounce back and win the other. So try and take every session at a time. And definitely this Indian team, there are news there, and I'm sure, Boria, you will update everyone else. But I don't think in all this thing about isolation and all is just to kind of put pressure on India. I mean, that's what Australian media does. Yes, there was a little bit of an issue, but I think that's all. That shouldn't be a problem. Everyone should be available who are there in Australia, and India should be in a good position to win the series.
Absolutely. Couple of questions for my guests. But before that, Shubham Bashisht, I saw your comment about me that I'm not a journalist. I give false information. भाई संडे मॉर्निंग कचौड़ी जलेबी खाओ ना यार. मेरा शो देख के अपना टाइम क्यों बर्बाद कर रहे हो भाई? मत देखो. किसने बोला देखने के लिए? मैं अपना काम कर रहा हूँ, एंजॉय कर रहा हूँ. फॉल्स दूं, सही दूं, मैं मेरा काम कर रहा हूँ, तुम अपना करो. सिंपल बात है. स्पोर्ट्स टुडे मत देखो. The rest of the people who are enjoying sports today, उनको enjoy करने दो. Praveen, आपके लिए एक question, very important one. Mentally, people are asking how, even young cricketers, somebody is saying, I'm 13 years old, Praveen sir, someone's writing from America. How does one mentally sort of become a stronger cricketer as a coach? And this is not as Ajinkya's coach. This is as one of India's best coaches. These are questions that coming your way. So if you could quickly take that.
Well, I just go back and I just recollect myself also. To be honest, we also played cricket, and it wasn't that thing. I personally believe cricket is a game of skills. If you enhance your skill, at that confidence you get. If I'm just talking about a batsman, if I am going and middling every single ball, or I can play on all type of wicket, that gives me a confidence, and that it automatically gives me mentally toughness also. So you cannot be just mentally tough and then you expect your skill will be good. It is not. It is other way. You have to have a good skill first, and that helps you to become a good mentally also. And that is what I saw. Like, we call it Sachin as a god, but even he played a 200 test match. He was practicing before that also. So that shows more that skill is so important. There is always room to improve. That's the best part of this game. This game is so big. You cannot be like you can be the best next day. And that is what cricket history has taught us. Like great Sir Don Bradman. It is like on a last test match, he wanted to score 4 runs to get 100, but that not happened. It is that this game is sometimes that cruel. So you have to respect this game. You have to work hard on your game, your fitness nowadays, and I think mental aspect will take care. Yes, I personally believe like 30% is only a skill, 70%, 60% is a mental, 10% is a fitness. So I give more credit to the mental as well. But you cannot play 15% skill, and if you got a 70% up. So I think I answered your question in that.
Okay. 3 things let me say before I give my 2 guests concluding comments. One, our comment section is flooded with generally 4 questions. One, what is the update on Rohit Sharma? That's question number 1. What is the update on the 5 cricketers, Navdeep, Rohit, Prithvi, Shubman, and Rishabh? What is the update on them? Their isolation, will they be available for the 3rd test? That's question number 2. Question number 3, will Sydney go ahead? Question number 4, will Indian team play in Brisbane? These are the questions, and there are about 120, 130 comments there. But if I could sum up, I was reading those comments when Praveen was answering. These are the central 4 questions which have been asked. Frankly, we have answers to each. But before that, I will put a few more questions for our viewers. One, so will the team travel together to Sydney tomorrow? The 5 guys who are in isolation, will they travel together on the same flight? Will there be a separate charter flight for them? How long is the isolation for? When will the investigation be concluded, and when will the report be given to us? No investigation can be timeless, right? When you have a team traveling together to Sydney in 24 hours from now. So these are important questions that are staring at the face of Cricket Australia also. And we have we have answers to those. So let me be very specific here. 5 on 5 is our news show to give you all of these answers. Will Rohit play? As of date, what is the news? Will Shubman and the others play? As on date, what is the news? Will the team travel together to Sydney? What is the team management saying? When will the isolation end? Watch 5 on 5 on Sports Today. Believe me, you will get the answers to each of your questions. This is not that show. This is Praveen Amre on Ajinkya Rahane with Deep and me. So it's a different show. Let's respect the ban. Final points, Deep. While we answer all this, I need you half an hour later again, Deep, at 12 o'clock, because this is a very important show. We will be joined by our common friend, Dr. Rupali Basu, the Dr. Rupali Basu, CEO of Woodlands Nursing Home, for a very special show on Saurav Ganguly. How is he? Is he stable? What is the update this morning? How is Saurav convalescing, recuperating? Did he have breakfast? When will he be out of the nursing home? Is he out of danger? Rupali Basu to take all our questions between Deep and me. You can ask her questions also. 12 noon sharp on Sports Today. Again, we have broken every possible news that you wanted to know on Saurabh. We have given you the good updates. Join us, subscribe to the channel, and join us at 12 noon with Deep and me and with Rupali Basu, the CEO of Woodlands Nursing Home, Woodlands Hospital rather. Final comments from you, Deep. Praveen also deserves a pat in the back. I mean, Ajinkya has chosen a very good coach. A good coach, why? Because he is reticent, so is Praveen. One has to cajole Praveen 25 times to say, yaar, ek show mein aa jao, bhag jata hai. So your thoughts on Praveen Amre, and as I said, 12 o'clock, I need you for half an hour. So do commit to that. Deep first and then closing comments from Praveen.
Well, as far as Praveen Bhai is concerned, listen, as I mentioned, I mean, Praveen Bhai is someone who's been there, done it, and he's someone who's done it the hard way, right? And he comes from a pedigree of huge pedigree and very similar. I mean, if you look at Praveen Bhai, Ajinkya, they are like ultimate or great examples of what we call Khadu's cricket, the Mumbai style of cricket. So I think there's a lot of similarities there. And obviously I've spent a lot of time with him, not just as a player, but also as somebody, as part of the coaching staff or support staff. He's absolutely brilliant. There's no two ways about it. A lot of credit to him for what he's doing right now, one-on-one coaching with a lot of kids, obviously the big ones, the big names, but also with a lot of younger ones that he's doing. So all the very best. And obviously we keep in touch all the time. As soon as late as a week ago, we had a chat on this. And in fact, you know what, Praveen Bhai, I'm going to call you back because I said I'm going to call you back. So I'm going to call you back today.
So 12 o'clock, Deep, am I getting you or not at 12 o'clock?
Yeah, I'll see you there, Bodhi, at 12.
Super. Praveen, last question to you. Firstly, congratulations. Congratulations
Thank you.
for what you've achieved. Most importantly, when was the last conversation, and give us some details as to Ajinkya's mindset as the team travels to Sydney tomorrow.
Well, I think I just wanted to come first that you said like I go away simply because see, as a coach, I am also worried because this is the first time we work as a one-to-one coach, and just wanted to give the background also. When player play for a country, there is a head coach, because you just see with Ajinkya gone with so many different. We talk about Duncan Fletcher, Gary, so many coaches. He has to respect them, and I work simply because it is like a coaching classes. I have to prepare him before the tour, because during the tour I can't do anything. That whatever I can do it is before. The preparation is when the tour start. I think I keep aloof from them because I don't disturb also. If he have any problem, he just we talk about generally, but nothing much on that. Yes, definitely we spoke about after that historical win, because he was so glad because he delivered. See, so many times we as a coaches give advice and do that, but what was good like that in a second test, it was like to be honest, it's like a dream. Look, going there, winning that second half, everybody wanted to come back, and I think that's some satisfaction on his voice I can make out. Like he did it, he executed, and I think he delivered for the team India, where most of the most important test match. Because I personally feel this is the win. Can be like a top 10 test match victory overseas in that. So and he will be the part of that. So I think he knows the importance of that. But as a person, I know he's also aware the Sydney is going to be a next acid test, and he started preparing for that. But I did told him like let's enjoy for next 2 days, because sometimes enjoying is also so important. When we will think about Sydney, when we actually go to the Sydney, don't think too much. Also sometimes so you become yourself, spoil yourself by thinking too much also. So I think it is important to enjoy that moment also, because it was real hard work for each and every person of Team India who played that test match and produced a great cricket for all of us.
Okay, on that note, as Saurav said, good things happen to good people. Ajinkya Rahane is actually a good man. I mean, I have told you several personal stories of my own with Ajinkya. We'll tell you later. Today is not my day. But Praveen Amre, thank you very much for joining us, sharing your insights, giving us the details. And just you said, Sydney will be another acid test, but we have every confidence that Ajinkya Rahane and this Indian team will stand up to the challenge. You stay healthy and stay safe, Praveen. Sooner than
Thank
later,
you.
it will not be virtual and we will get to meet again physically. Deep, time for you to come back. Enough of Goa, enough of holidaying. Time for you to get back to Calcutta and then catch up with some really good Notun Gure Shandesh waiting for you. So do come back and do give Praveen a call and see you at 12, Deep. Thanks for watching.
Yeah. Thank you.